Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Guns for Hire from You Always Win, and welcome to the Roblox Phantom Forces How to Be a Better Sniper. Now, I'm not the greatest sniper in the entire world, but I certainly can hold my own, and more often than not, I am top of the scoreboard there with an incredible KD ratio. That's part of sniping. It's not just about getting the kills and getting on target, it's also about understanding where the players come from and how to avoid getting killed. The first and most important lesson is to ignore all the haters, all the people whining and complaining that you're going to be using a noob weapon. I highly recommend, especially in this particular one here, the BFG 50. Now, I know you don't get it till higher ranks, but if you save up all your credits, you can buy early, which is what I did, and now all the practice with it, this thing is a lethal killing machine, at least in my hands. My loadout is fairly simple. I have the ballistics tracker and the vertical grip. Vertical grip, not super important, but that ballistics tracker, that is the key. Don't bother with any muzzle brake, suppressor, or anything like that. You want to make sure that every single bullet leaving that is not going to be changed and it's at max damage capacity. When you first unlock the BFG, concentrate on quick scoping. Don't even worry about the ballistics tracker. You're going to be basically moving around the map and doing a lot of close quarter killing with the BFG. When I train for quick scoping, it's not so that I can just constantly run around as if I have an assault rifle. I don't believe in that. As a sniper, I want those long, medium, and only close quarter range kills when I have to actually move, because staying in the same spot for too long, well, ends up getting you killed. To become super effective, not only for those close quarter combat kills, but even for the long range kills, once you have the ballistic tracker engaged, you're going to want to get used to slightly pulling in the view, like you're going to actually be aiming down, but not to the point where you can actually see through the scope. All you're doing is making sure that that aiming reticle bunches in a little bit closer. It doesn't even have to be as intense as it is in Call of Duty if you are a quick scoper there. You just want to sort of bunch it in a little bit. When you're close, that BFG is a one-shot kill every time. All you got to do is make sure that you're on target when you're pulling that in, hit the trigger, boom, that dude's dead. Once you're getting a little comfortable with doing that quick scoping in a close quarter combat, you're going to want to start engaging on that medium range. And what you're going to be doing is noticing when you're aiming down on the BFG, it's very slow to pull in that scope. So as you're doing that, you need to make micro adjustments with your mouse or with your controller, depending on what you're using. I personally recommend the mouse. I find it a little bit easier and way more accurate. Either way, as you're pulling in that view, as you're sort of aiming in, you're going to notice it's pretty slow. As the person's moving, move your reticle. Track that person as you're actually bringing it in. Once you've got it, as soon as you actually have that crosshairs on there for a split second, that's when you're pulling the trigger. And if you do it properly, you're going to kill that person every single time. Get used to that medium range stuff, and even on the long range stuff. As you're pulling it in, track the player and then pull the trigger once it's in a little bit closer. Now, for long range shots, I do a little combination. I am not one of those pure quick scopers. I'm not here to show and showcase a montage or anything like that, or trying to get into FaZe Clan. I'm there to kill the enemy players. So I typically do a combination of quick scoping and hard scoping on those players. A lot of times what you're going to be seeing is me sort of almost doing this weird phase in and phase out. When you have the ballistics tracker on there, I don't pull it in. You're going to see me sort of going in and out a lot of times when you're watching this. That's because with the ballistics tracker, even if you can't see the enemy, the second that you actually start pulling that in, even just flashing it, kind of like teasing it or you know, just pulsing the actual aiming, you're going to see that ballistics tracker light someone up, even when you can't normally see them. If they're hidden somewhere, you're going to see that little yellow triangle above their head. That's why I do it. It usually pops up, and then you can see the enemy player before they even get a bead on you. And same thing as the medium range. When you're going in for that, you know, long range quick scope, the same thing. The aiming on the BFG is so slow, you have time to make micro adjustments. Try and be on that target, but as the player's moving, or if you find that your aiming crosshairs aren't precisely over top of it, make that slight adjustment before you pull the trigger. But you got plenty of time with the BFG. Take your time, do those micro adjustments, get on target, and you'll just be owning constantly. All right, my final tip, and this is a very important one. Once you unlock the ballistics tracker, you're going to notice, and even on, you know, when I'm showing you this, you see that little yellow diamond across their head. That's a ballistics tracker. What you're going to want to do every single time, if it's long range, you know, I don't do it all the time because I'm trying to pull off the shot as quickly as possible. When you're long range, and sometimes even medium range, when you're aiming in, do not aim for the actual player, the enemy player. There is bullet drop in this game. The beauty of the ballistics tracker is that if you get those crosshairs on right on top of that little yellow, right in the center of that little yellow diamond, it's going to get you a kill every time. So when you're aiming, whether you're hard scoping or quick scoping, when you see that little red or little yellow triangle, that's where you're aiming for. Ignore the player itself. Don't go for the head. Aim for that. Even when you're doing those micro adjustments, slowly zooming in, go for that triangle. When someone's up in the tower, in a crane, or super, super far away, sometimes you can't even see the player. All you'll see is the little triangle. If you put your crosshairs on that thing and you pull the trigger, that player is dead. Hopefully these tips help you a lot. Remember, I use the BFG. You can use the intervention or the Remington. It's just the power behind the BFG. You know, as long as you properly use it and understand and are aware of how slow it is to aim in with it. But if you learn to quick scope, if you learn to use that ballistics tracker properly, none of that matters. You'll have one of the most powerful weapons in the game. You'll be able to own long range, medium range, and close quarter with that as well.